I'll rip your head off and shit down your nose.
And welcome back to the 128
He did it again.
I only do it so you have to edit it out. We're back once again due to lack of popular demand.
Oh, is it still lack of popular demand?
Yeah, very unpopular.
Oh.
But there's a demand for that lack of popularity.
Weren't we like number one podcast in some random country before?
We were Singapore for video games. There you go.
There
So
we
if
go.
you're listening in Singapore,
Thank you.
hello. I don't know what language you speak. Obviously English if you're listening to this. This is your weekly dose of all things gaming.
It is indeed.
We like to just take a hot take on gaming and annoy people on Facebook.
That tends to be the case.
Tends to be the thing. This week, what I wanted to do is open the Pandora's box of hot takes.
Oh.
And reach in, pull out your Switch OLED.
Oh, yes.
This is inspired by the very fine people over on our Discord server.
Yes, it is.
You have to be a member to join it, but it's only 9p. Come and do it.
Yes.
And it was actually in a live stream. Someone from Discord came over to a live stream that I was doing on the 128KB news channel.
Yes.
Another plug. And they were asking about, they wanted to get a handheld console now.
Yeah.
2024.
Yes.
And should you buy a Nintendo Switch in 2024? And I was like, that's too big a question just to answer.
Big question, isn't
That's
it?
a whole podcast episode.
It is. I don't know if I should be here since the 128KB channel is all Nintendo.
You're 90% Nintendo, 10% Steam Deck.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which are really your two main options for this question.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got a bit more of a objective view of it.
Yes.
I love the Nintendo Switch though.
I do too.
But I'm not as much as of a diehard fan of Nintendo as you are.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of fair.
I think despite my love of Nintendo,
Yeah.
for that specific question, we'll probably end up with the same answer.
Yeah, I think so. And I guess it all stems from the fact that we are now in year 7 of the Nintendo Switch.
It's crazy,
Which
isn't
is what, year 10 of the hardware?
Yeah, 9.
Year 9
yeah,
of
it's
the
got a
hardware.
2015 APU in it. The Tegra X1.
Now, it's very, very difficult to make recommendations. We get asked for recommendations all the time.
Yes.
There's so many caveats to a recommendation.
Absolutely.
But let's start with the fact that it's Nintendo.
Yes, that's a big thing.
For the Switch, it's a big thing. If you want to play Nintendo games...
That's the main thing, yeah.
Especially now Yuzu got shut down.
Oh, yes. Yes, it did get shut down, didn't it?
Yeah, and emulation is a horrible hot potato of a grey area.
It is, yeah.
We get emulation companies messaging us quite a lot, asking us to cover either their handheld or their console emulator.
Yeah, the hardware side of it, yeah.
And I'm always like, I don't really want to touch it.
No.
Because there's no easy way for that to be legal.
No.
Which means it's almost certainly going to be illegal.
Yes, we've touched on it in the past.
Yeah.
Purely because that was a legal way. You know, I was looking at games that I'd ripped from the discs and cartridges that I owned myself.
Was it called the Game Boy Operator?
Yeah, the Game Boy Operator was one, and also we did had a look at that Ambernick thing.
Yeah.
And all the games that I put on there were actually ones that I had like the license to pull the ROMs from.
Yeah.
However, you know, modern emulation is a whole nother story. It's not something I've ever touched.
It's not going to happen. So if you're outside of Nintendo looking in and going, I really want to play some of these Nintendo games. I want to play Pokemon. I want to play Zelda. Whatever it is. I want to play Metroid.
I want to play Mario.
I want to play Mario Kart still, even though that is like
10 years old. It is actually 10 years old now. Yeah, Mario Kart 8 came on the Wii U in 2014.
Still a great game though. Still a very playable
Amazing game. Yeah, especially with the extra packs that they've now got on.
Okay, hot take before I get into the Switch.
Okay, yeah.
I don't like the added packs. I don't like them. They're too slow.
Yeah, I mean, I like them now that they're all released.
Yeah.
So they're all there, whereas before you had to like wait for them, like as part of the...
They've done something to
Nintendo
them.
Switch Online.
I don't know if it's just my perspective. I'm so used to playing the original levels.
Yeah.
But on... Is it 200cc the fastest
250,
mode?
I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, on the fastest mode... I'm so used to the speed of those levels and they're like hectic.
I felt like it was slow as well.
Yeah, going to the other ones, it's like, feels like I'm playing on the easy mode.
Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it? Very weird. But I mean, I like the fact that that's now out there as a complete package.
Yeah,
and you can buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you know, as one
with the expansion pack.
with the expansion pack, so
That's
you don't
cool.
have to use the Nintendo Switch Online service.
So yeah, if you want to play Nintendo games, there is no other proper option of doing it.
You have to just get a Switch. You
Yeah.
know, like that's the only way about it.
Yeah.
You've got access to all of those amazing games, and then loads of other amazing third-party titles as well.
Yeah.
And then that just lies on to what we'll talk about later in terms of the age.
Yeah, so rather than looking at like the alternatives, you've got to kind of have to put a ring fence around Nintendo and go, it's its own thing, man.
It is. Yeah, it absolutely is.
When you see these awful comparisons made between Nintendo and PlayStation or Xbox and the hardware, it's like, that's a stupid comparison to make. Also, when you look at all the rumors about the Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be called,
yes,
they always go, it'll be like PS4 performance. I hate that comparison 'cause it doesn't make any sense.
It's not like
I'm playing Nintendo games in a screen that's 8 inches probably.
Yeah.
I don't need the performance of the PlayStation in order to do this well.
Yeah.
So the comparison doesn't fit.
Yeah.
So you look at the Nintendo games that are available, and yes, we are talking about very old hardware, but the OLED screen is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, the Switch OLED is amazing. Like, it really is.
Really is. And the Nintendo games that play on it, bar a few exceptions, which are just broken games.
Yes, yeah.
Arceus.
Yeah. Well, mainly
Scarlet
and Violet are the worst.
Scarlet Violet's terrible.
Yeah. It's awful.
It plays Nintendo games so well. You
really
have
does.
such an amazing experience doing it.
And you overlook the performance issues, you know, you really do. Like, even Tears of the Kingdom, you can see all the pop-in from, like, where it's loading the texture as you're, like, getting to places. And you can
shadows moving.
Yeah, the shadows, like, flickering and stuff. Like, it as a technical aspect, looks horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in the game and playing it, just like Scarlet and Violet, when you're having fun and you're immersed,
it doesn't break the immersion.
It doesn't break the immersion, you know, like, it would be better if it didn't happen, you know, and that's what the Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be will hopefully aim to improve with some more horsepower behind it.
Yeah.
And then that will make the immersion even better. But as a system right now, if you take away its age and you just look at what it's capable of, I mean, this is the Switch. This is the first time we've had handheld console experience.
Yes.
You've got a console in your hands, and that is the one thing that I've always loved about it. You know, as a handheld gamer, I've always dreamt of having like a console experience in your hands. And when this dropped, it was mind-blowing. And now everyone's copied it.
Yeah.
You know, all the PC handhelds are just copies of the Switch.
Yeah, even the Steam Deck. You know, it's They opened the door to this handheld hybrid experience.
Yes.
And there's no going back from it now. It really... perfect timing. It kind of like tapped into the zeitgeist of gaming needs in the moment. Like, this is what people are actually looking for and they didn't realise.
Yes, yeah. And the fact, because that was the thing I always hated as a kid was, I'm playing at home, okay, I'm going away or whatever. I've got to save it. I know I can't come back to that for however long, you know, and then I'm playing awesome games on my Game Boy Advance or whatever it might be, the DS, whatever. I love that. But there was always that break, whereas now literally you can just go ching out of the dock and I'm continuing on. It's mind-blowingly fun, you know. I think so good.
That's actually a really important point to the question, should you buy it in 24? If you're just looking for a console, just a straight-up TV console, don't buy it. Not now.
No. Yeah, if you don't know what kind of games you like or whatever, you know.
If you just want a general gaming experience, it's a bad investment right now.
Yes, yeah.
But if you want specifically to play Nintendo games or specifically want to play handheld games, it's a good option still.
Yeah. It's still the cheapest option.
Yeah.
And you've still got like amazing games that you know are going to run like perfectly every time. Like, well, I say perfectly, but you know that they're designed for this system and nothing else, and that they're going to run at the best of their ability.
And honestly, if you've not seen an OLED panel yet in the flesh... cameras don't do it justice.
You can't capture it.
It is so much better than everything else. It honestly looks like you've got like this huge... It looks like when you look at a beautiful 4K TV panel. You know, you're like, oh, wow, that looks really good for the first time.
Yeah.
OLED, it looks amazing. So it still looks current.
It absolutely does. Like when the OLED got announced and everyone was like, all they've done is changed the screen and made it a little bit bigger. Like, yeah, okay, great. It's like, yeah, but you've not experienced it. Like, I already knew that this was going to be huge just because I'd seen what an OLED TV looked like from coming from an LCD screen, you know, and when we got the OLED and compared it against the original, oh my days, you know, like it's insane.
Quite literally.
Yeah, it felt like the Switch 2. Like, it makes games look better. Like, it really does. Like, it looked like a whole new system. It looked like it had more performance, even though it didn't.
Yeah.
Just because how good it made those games look. And I still love it to this day.
Yeah.
You know, to this day, I don't look at this and go, this is rubbish now. Like, I'm still blown away. Every time I pick up the OLED and play it handheld, I'm just like, this is such a win. It really is.
There's certain games that it's definitely made for. It feels like certain games just are better on it than other games. And I think that's also part of the question you need to answer yourself is like, what kind of games do you want to play?
Yeah, if you're looking like at the Switch, because luckily now Nintendo with the Switch opened the door for third party.
Yeah.
You know, this is the first time this is basically just a PC in a handheld rather than all their old systems that were always like, you had to make the game for that system. You know, we saw stuff like Skyrim coming out on this, and now you got Doom, and like there's all these other like stuff that you can get on this. So many third party titles, which I love and endorse fully. But if you're only looking to play those games, you're not fussed about handheld, then absolutely worst choice. If you're in the price bracket, get an Xbox Series S.
Yes.
You know, that's
totally
where you need to be.
Yeah.
If that's the price point you're at, you know. But again, if you're really heavy into, I want to play Nintendo, this is your only option for sure.
But also, when you look at third-party games, it's important to know what type of games you like.
Yes.
If you wanted to play, there's a really good example that popped into mind. If you like racing games,
yes,
but you want to play a Gran Turismo type game, or if you like racing games but you prefer a Hot Wheels type game, you know which is going to be better for Switch or not. Aesthetically and gameplay wise, Hot Wheels feels like it was made for the Switch.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
When I mean, that's obviously a kind of just a metaphor in general, but Prince of Persia, the 2.5D,
the Lost Crown, amazing.
Feels like a perfect Nintendo Switch experience.
Yeah, it really is.
One that popped into my head earlier when you were showing me your new studio, your new games room.
Yeah.
And it's because I've not mentioned it yet in today's podcast, is Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. Yes, I got it in there!
Every time.
Crisis Core actually feels like a really good Nintendo Switch game.
Well, because it came from the PSP.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's winning, isn't it? Like, it's such a good thing.
Crisis Core versus if Final Fantasy Rebirth was available, which it's not, but if it was, it depends what type of game you want to play.
Yes, totally.
So having that in your mind is really important.
It really, really is, And again, if you're like looking on these third-party titles, if you want to play your Final Fantasies, if you want to play your racing games, if you want to play like the slightly more modern games, then that's where this falls down, like in comparison to other options. If you're looking for a handheld system, then you're probably going to start looking into Steam Deck territory. Yeah,
so that is, guess it's an important point, is then to talk about the alternatives. Price point and types of games.
Yes.
Steam Deck is impossible to ignore. The Steam Deck OLED in particular is impossible to ignore.
Yeah.
I would put a ring around the higher end PC handhelds.
Yeah, I don't think they...
MSI Claw,
the MSI
Asus
Claw.
ROG Ally.
Yeah, the Lenovo Legion Go.
Firstly, they're in a price point double what the Nintendo Switch is to
way
start
more,
with.
Yeah, triple even in some cases. Yeah.
Secondly, they are Windows 11 machines.
Yes, they're just a PC.
So it's a PC, so you have to have PC knowledge. You're going to have to be able to tinker, willing to tinker.
Yep.
And it's for that bleeding edge experience.
Yeah.
You want to push things to the limit.
It's pretty much like aimed at current PC players that want to play their games on the go.
Yeah.
You know, so you already have a background knowledge and how to make these games run. It's not like a Switch where you just hit a game and boom, it works. None of that.
Yeah.
You're going to have to install the launcher. Well, first of all, you're going to have to install all the updates and stuff for Windows 11. You're then going to have to get your launchers down, whether that be like Steam, GOG, whatever it is, Game Pass, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to install the game. Then when you load the game, it's not going to work. You're going to have to tinker with it to get it to work and know what each setting does to be able to change it to pull back some performance in some areas. You're going to have to sacrifice your shadows to your graphics options, you know, like depending on what it is, to then get that game to play perfectly, that takes time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of tinkering. It's not as easy as this. Stick the cartridge in or download it, press go, it works.
I think those experiences are for that 5% of real I mean, really into playing around.
It's the enthusiasts.
Yeah.
That's what that's for.
I think where the Steam Deck takes over from the Switch is for that broader spectrum of more typical average gamers.
Absolutely, yeah.
I would put myself in that bracket. I'm just someone that I love gaming, but I cannot spend the time to mess around.
Yeah, you just want to get in the game and have fun.
In the game.
Yeah.
So if I wanted a handheld gaming experience in 2024, and I didn't want to be bound to just the limitations of the Switch now or just Nintendo games, the Steam Deck is the option.
Yes, that is the option, absolutely. And it caters for both sides.
Yeah.
You've got the beginner to intermediate area, and then you've got the enthusiast.
Yeah.
And it caters for everybody.
Yeah.
Because you've literally on the Steam store got verified, unverified, or supported, so it will tell you if it's verified. You can just download it, you don't have to mess around, and it will just work. And it will give you a good experience. You can still tinker to get better, but it will work. Then you've got the supported games, but they may require some tinkering, like text might be too small, so you might have to go in and adjust that, or maybe the graphics option from default doesn't scale to the full resolution of the screen because it's a 16:10 screen as opposed to a 16:9 screen, so you have to adjust things. And then you've got the unsupported, which means untested, or it just flat out doesn't work. Or if you're an enthusiast like me, you can get these games to work even though they say they don't work. They can work if you know how to do it, so there is that extra level. But the thing there is, again, you're not playing any Nintendo games. Not legally, at least. No. Not legally.
No, but you do have that more it feels disingenuous to say, but that more kind of typical AAA experience.
Yeah, no,
it's
absolutely.
more of a console experience.
It is more of a console experience. Yeah.
And you can just pick it up and play it.
And the graphics look amazing.
The OLED screen, much like the Switch OLED screen. Again, if you haven't seen it in the flesh, you have to.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's the first time in this generation of console, of gaming in general, that I've seen something and gone, wow.
Yeah.
And that was when I saw your Steam Deck OLED
for
the first time. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, wow. I've looked at the future now.
Yeah.
And there's no going back.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just so good. And
price point wise,
amazing. It's more expensive than the Switch.
But not by a lot.
Not by a lot. It's about £100 more. And you're getting a lot for that. You really are getting a lot for that. And again, the games you can play there are more typical Xbox, PlayStation games.
Yeah.
It basically runs every modern games. I mean, you can even run Xbox and PlayStation games. I've been playing Ratchet and Clank on the Steam Deck. You've got Spider-Man on there, God of War. You've got loads of Xbox games.
You mean all the PlayStation exclusives?
Yeah, they're also on PC.
Weird.
You can play all your Final Fantasy games, all that kind of stuff. It's amazing. And most of the time, they look and run really good.
Yeah.
You're not going to get 60 FPS on the most modern game,
but you're playing it on a handheld device.
It on a handheld. 30 FPS is fine in most cases.
Yeah.
You can play Resident Evil 4 remake on there. You can play whatever you want, really. And the other benefit and the other thing to talk about really is the price of games.
Oh, it's huge. That's a huge thing.
It's a massive thing. It really is. Because yes, okay, the investment side might be different between Switch and Steam Deck,
but Switch games are expensive.
Switch games are expensive. They hold their value.
You can't even go into a second-hand store and go, oh, okay, well, at least I can buy pre-owned. They're still expensive.
And in some cases, they're more expensive than buying them freaking new.
Yeah, because they're so sought after.
Yeah.
So go, okay, well, then I'll just use the eShop.
If you can get it alone, because it is rubbish.
The Nintendo eShop is a hot mess, man.
It is, yeah. Once you've sifted through all the hentai games that you enjoy.
Hentai Farm Simulator 4.
Yes, and the medieval farming simulator.
As I said on the 128 KB channel, Animal Farm.
That's it, Animal Farm, yeah.
I don't even know where it came from.
Once you've gone through all that rubbish, then you can find some good games. But it's really difficult to navigate on the eShop, and it sucks.
You've got to know exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
If you just want to browse like you can in the Steam shop.
No, it's not the same.
You don't get the same, and you don't get this anywhere on any of the other digital platforms. The Steam sale, which is, as we were recording this, it's happening right now. The spring sale just started.
Yep.
That is indicative of how incredible the value of the games is for the Steam Deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's insane.
Yeah, it's mad. And that's the thing. So Switch games, full price. I mean, granted, you've got a physical option. So if you enjoy collecting and you want the case and stuff, you can do that. You can go to your local game shop and buy it. But Steam obviously is digital only.
Yeah.
But again, the price difference is huge, like absolutely massive. And you can find the same games on both systems, and you'll find that it'll be a lot cheaper to find it on Steam.
Yeah.
You know, and the Steam sale, I mean, you get games for like £3.
Yeah.
Like
good games.
Yeah, really good games. Yeah. Like all the Final Fantasy games are like always on offer.
Yeah.
Like, you know, all that kind of stuff. Is that Steam here with our package?
That's in here with the suitcase of cash.
Yes,
to pay you off.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, the value difference in like the long term investment is huge for Steam. And when you talk about the long term investment, you have to actually acknowledge the life of the Switch now versus the Steam Deck,
but also the life of the games you're buying on Steam.
Yeah. Oh, so, very good point.
Because once you've bought a game on Steam, that's it.
Yeah.
You can play it on any PC.
Yeah.
You know, I've got games that I bought 20 years ago that are still on my account. I don't have to rebuy them.
We've not seen that with anyone else.
No, there's none.
You just don't see it elsewhere.
No. So you look at like Switch,
Wii
U, Wii. You're buying the same game multiple times. They just sell it to you with a new sticker on the front, you know?
Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart. Yeah, exactly. So with Steam, you buy it once.
Yeah.
That's it forever. Even if they remove it from the shop,
it has to stay there.
It's still linked to your account and you can still download and play it.
Yes. So that's huge, the longevity thing. So yeah, and then look at the life of the console.
Absolutely, yeah.
We don't know when the Switch 2 is coming out yet. It's not been confirmed. It is going to be the end of this year or the beginning of next year for certain. It's in this within a 12-month time frame.
They're going to announce it this year, like halfway through the year. I reckon.
That doesn't mean that instantly that makes the Switch OLED redundant.
No, not at all.
They may run them parallel for quite a while.
Yeah, they definitely will.
Because there's 140 million owners of the Switch family.
Yes.
So they're not going to switch it off.
Hey.
But it does show you the age of that compared to the Steam Deck, which we're still a way away from that being replaced.
Yeah. And to be fair, even if it is replaced, it will just be the next iteration. All your games will still carry over and all that kind of stuff. And your original one will be fine. You know, your Steam Deck LCD or OLED will still be
I will say
relevant.
in Nintendo's defense, the talk currently is that the Switch 2 won't be a complete replacement, but more of a generation step.
Yes.
Meaning that your investment into Switch games probably won't be redundant. They might have a cross-compatibility, backwards compatibility thing.
I think they're going to be backwards compatible, yeah.
That's the rumours anyway. That's the talk that this is going to happen. And it feels like quite a logical step for them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's an evolution, not a revolution of the Switch.
It's just going to be the next Switch system.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to remain the Switch family. You know?
So I think to kind of put people's minds at rest a little bit, if they're like dead into, I really want a Switch, I really want the Switch OLED, and I know it's at the end of life, but I want to play these Nintendo games. Don't be afraid to make that investment, because it's not going to get switched off, and if you do want to replace it, you'll probably still be able to play the same games. Yes, probably.
And they always hold their value.
They do.
Like Switch systems hold their value, provided you haven't like chainsawed it with if it's
etched your name into the screen.
If it's in good condition, collectors and stuff are going to be always wanting that, and it will retain its value.
That's actually a big thing to say about the Nintendo in general. In its defense, is you will always get most of your money back.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you're willing to sit on it for a long time, you'll get all your money back. Keep the battery alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Battery's relatively easy to change.
Yes, yeah.
Like if you're willing to take it apart.
Yes.
You will void the warranty, but
but it's
by the time
doable.
You want to change the battery, the warranty's dead anyway.
And I think only the most sort of hardcore people are after the cutting edge. Do you know what I mean? So even when the Switch 2 comes out, or the Pro, whatever they call it, the original systems, they're going to keep running alongside, and people will buy these because these will be the cheaper models. So it's the price point. This comes in at like £300. The new Switch will not double that, but like add an extra £100 at least.
Yeah, it's going to be 400.
Yeah, it's going to be 400. So that might still be out of your price range, and you'll be playing the same games most likely. So, getting a Switch OLED now or getting it on sale or whatever is not a bad idea.
Here's a question for you, and this is real Sophie's choice for you in particular.
Okay.
Switch 2 is out today.
Yeah.
Day one. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have a Steam Deck yet.
Yes.
You've only got £400.
Yeah.
Which are you buying?
Which one I buy? Oh, so either Switch
2 or Steam Deck.
I would get a Switch 2. That would be what I'd get first, because I've got a massive backlog of games.
Yep.
You know, and providing it's backwards compatible.
Yeah.
You know, and I've always been a big Nintendo advocate. Like, I've always been a PC player at the same time. That's the thing. But I know I can play my PC games at any point. Do you know what I mean?
They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere, whereas I want to jump on the latest thing from Nintendo. It's like more exciting.
Yeah.
My Switch library, I mean, I bought my Steam Deck and it's like, oh, look, I've got like 400 games. I didn't have to buy any. I already had them.
So, okay, then, I'll take this a step further.
Yes, yeah, come
We're
on.
answering this question in a generic fashion.
No Steam games. No.
No.
Okay.
Like, we're answering it from the perspective of a viewer that's like, I want a handheld gaming console right now.
Okay.
Your Switch OLED dies. There is no Nintendos in your house anymore. No Nintendo Switch. But you've still got your collection games.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Do you replace it?
That's a good question, isn't
Which
it?
is essentially answering the question, would you buy a Switch in 2024?
It really depends on your financial situation. Do you know what I mean?
You've got the money to.
Yeah, you've got the... Yeah, but is that going to screw you over for not being able to buy the Switch 2 if it came out in 6 months?
For most people, probably.
Yeah. It's so difficult. So difficult. If it's a year away, which I anticipate it is...
Spring 25?
Yeah, then I would say I would probably I'd rebuy the OLED.
You would?
Yeah, I think I would.
And sell it when the Switch 2 gets announced?
Yeah, absolutely. Or what I'd probably do is buy it secondhand. I'd buy a secondhand one, save half my money, put it in a savings account. Don't touch it. Just leave it there until the Switch 2 comes out, and then you're already halfway there.
Yeah.
You know, buy a secondhand Switch.
OLED?
Yeah, I would go OLED, but you know, just because that's the best experience in my opinion. But you could go for a Switch Lite just to tie you over for 6 months, a year, you know, and then you're saving even more money.
I think the Switch Lite is incredible value.
It's a brilliant system.
Yeah.
It's a really good system.
Really great. If you just want just a pure handheld experience, you're not
really
worried
good.
about hooking it up.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's weird that it's called the Switch.
Yeah.
It doesn't
switch.
It doesn't switch.
No, it doesn't. The non-switch. It's odd, isn't it? Really?
The final part, and we touched upon it a little bit at the start, is you have to acknowledge how old the hardware is.
It is old, and it is showing. You know, looking at the most recent AAA games coming out, like Tears of the Kingdom,
it's showing.
It's obvious. We watched the announcement trailer, and both of us were like, "Ooh!" I think there's videos online of us being like, "Ooh,"
I'm not
you know.
sure.
And people are like, "No, it's fine." It's like we're literally showing you the clips and telling you what's happening here, and it looks
Shadows
awful.
are fucking popping.
Yeah.
It's not great.
It does not look good. But again, that doesn't detract from the game.
No, but let's say just as a numbers thing, I'm going to invest my money into this. I'm going to invest 300 quid into this.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
It was worth it when it came out.
Yeah.
When the OLED was announced 3 years ago?
3 years ago. Oh.
Jeez.
Yeah.
When the OLED was announced 3 years ago, you go, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
But now...
I know, we're so near the end. It is a tough call, isn't it?
That's why this is a good discussion, Andy.
It's hard to... It all depends on everyone's own financial situation, but also what they want to get out of it, you know? Because the Steam Deck OLED is a brilliant option, or even just the standard Steam Deck is a brilliant option for most people if they're a little bit more techie, you know?
I think I would say, without being too controversial, right now, the Steam Deck OLED is the best investment to make into handheld gaming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today.
Yes.
It's the smartest one. It's going to give you the most time.
Yeah, and the cheapest games.
The cheapest games.
Yeah, which will always be with you.
That won't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I think Valve said then they're not going to replace it until there's a significant upgrade in performance available.
They said at least 2 years. So you're probably looking at 3.
Yeah.
You know? So you've definitely got more longevity out of that system than you do with the Switch OLED, because this is going to be updated at any point.
Yeah.
Like everyone...
But it just is. Yeah.
Everyone knows it's going to happen.
So that would be the smartest way to spend your money, unless you definitely want to play Nintendo games. In which case, get the Switch OLED and be comfortable knowing that. Firstly, you are buying old hardware now.
Yeah,
like 10 years old hardware.
Yeah,
9, 10 years old, whatever it is. but know that your games that you're investing into and the hardware will be supported for the foreseeable future, at least.
Yes.
I think you can comfortably say there's going to be 4 years. If you look at how the crossover's gone with PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what are we in now with PlayStation? We're in year 4.
Yeah, I know. It's
PlayStation
mad,
5.
Yeah.
And they're still releasing games for PS4.
Yes. I think that they'll want to keep the original Switches going for the longest they've ever kept a console going.
Yeah.
So at least 10 years.
Yeah.
At least. So we're looking at 2027 minimum. You know, but I actually think it'd probably be more than that.
Because the player base is so huge.
It's massive, yeah. And again, it is ultimately it all comes down to the games. It really does.
With the, I know things have totally changed now because now essentially all consoles and handhelds are essentially PC in some way.
Yeah.
When they weren't in the past.
Yes.
But with the DS family, that spanned a huge period of time.
Yeah.
And was equally a massive selling family.
Huge, yeah.
What was the crossover like? Version to version, like the supporting of games and the cross compatibility of games.
So going from the DS, ignore all the iterations of that, but just let's look at the families here.
Yeah.
So you got the DS and then the 3DS.
Yeah.
They're the only two major brackets, excluding the new 3DS because that's slightly different. But let's just DS, 3DS. Really good crossover because it was backwards compatible.
Yeah.
So you just take your games and stick them in the new one. Done.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine. And they kept releasing games for the original DS for a good while. And it was the same with when the Switch came out. There was still games. If you look at the Switch Nintendo Directs, there were Switch games and 3DS games still being released at the same time.
So it shows you what their history is like
yeah.
for supporting.
Yeah, like the Luigi's Mansion GameCube remake that came out on GameCube, but then on 3DS, that was announced when they were announcing Luigi's Mansion 3 for the Switch. You know, like they were still supporting it. They're really good at like keeping it going for a short while, even.
Yeah.
You know, but I think this will, because this is not going to be superseded by a new system.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a new Switch system.
Yeah.
I think that this will be supported for a long time yet.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, I do think so. And again, it all comes down to the games. And you've got fantastic Nintendo games, especially already.
Yeah.
Like you're buying into a system that's already fleshed out. You're not buying a new system that has no games. Because that's the worst killer. I mean, look at the PS5. We're 4 years in and it's got what? One actual game? So, you know, what I think I would take
Leave
that
your hate below.
No, I've got a PS5. I bought it on release. You know, I love it. But I think I would choose to have the older system that's already got fantastic games.
You say you love the PS5.
Yes.
You bought one day one.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah. When was the last time you played it?
I was playing Final Fantasy. You got me to drop it in. That's the only reason you asked.
When did you last play Final Fantasy?
When was it?
Was it before you moved house?
No. It was, I think I started
within the last month then?
Oh, easy, yeah.
Wow.
I'd say it was about 8 days ago that I haven't played it.
You.
I know.
That's impressive.
It was impressive, yeah.
Final Fantasy, that's the fifth mention of it in this show,
Yeah.
has made me fall back in love with it.
Yes.
Because that just shows you with all of these systems, and when you're making a choice about Switch or Steam Deck or whatever, it's all about the games.
Absolutely.
What games you want to play and what are available to you.
Exactly. And that's why I always loved Nintendo, because there's always amazing titles. And there's so many still coming out yet. You know, you've got the Princess Peach game, which will be out as this comes out, which looks phenomenal. You've still got the Luigi's Mansion 2, like remaster. Remake.
Yeah.
You've got Mario 1000 Year Door, like all these kind of games that are still set. Still don't know what's happening with Metroid Prime 4.
Why? That's your Final Fantasy. It is, yeah. How many times can you mention it? Prime 4 is not going to happen.
No, it's like Half-Life 3. It's just never going to happen. No.
Do you know, when you say Half-Life 3, it actually makes me a bit sad.
Yes.
It's like, I want it.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
That's like me with Metroid 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So, should you buy Nintendo Switch?
Yes and
in
no.
2024? Undecided.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe not. It depends. But that's always the way, isn't it? Because no one's got the same outcome.
No.
We've all got different choices to make.
I would say if you just want a general investment into handheld gaming and just want to play games handheld, then get the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
If you are dead set that there's Nintendo games you want to play then get a Nintendo Switch and don't worry about the life of it, because it will still be supported
Yes.
and you'll have a fantastic time,
Yeah,
despite the fact that it is, 7 years old.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And again, if you're looking for like purchase recommendations for a younger gamer, get the Switch.
Yeah, it's
Don't get the Steam Deck, because there's still a bit of faffery there.
Yeah.
You know, the Switch is just so much easier.
It's a fantastic entry point for someone into gaming as well.
Yeah, and
it really
it's,
is.
you know, we've not looked really at the point of docked play and the family fun side of it. You know, because that's
Really good point.
That's way more than any other system. You've got like Switch Sports and all these funny like dancing games, and do you know what I mean? There's all these like random things that are for families.
Yeah,
like,
the different party games and stuff.
Party games.
Are amazing. The kind of Mario themed ones are awesome.
Yep.
Mario Kart,
exactly.
Wario.
Yeah. There's so many, and the Joy-Cons and stuff. You each give one of these to your family member.
Yeah,
that they don't have to know how to game.
No,
you know the amount of times I've played Switch Sports with my family, which are totally not tech savvy. Like, you know,
they get it.
And like my mother, like she doesn't like have a clue at all, and then she'll go and she'll dominate on Switch Sports, you know, literally on bowling. She'll just strike every time, and we're like, how are you doing this? You're cheating. She's like, I've never played it in my life, I don't even know what button I'm pressing, you know. And it is fun like that. So if you want that kind of it, you're not going to get it with any other system.
No.
That's like only on Switch. Really,
I think that it's the last bastion holding the flag for couch multiplayer.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
in the same room.
Yeah,
and there is no better gaming experience, in my humble opinion, than being sat in the same room as someone and playing cooperatively or competitively.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
It is so much fun.
It brings me right back to being a child. And
yes.
you always have a smile on your face the whole time. And Nintendo is that place.
They're the kings, you know. That's where it is, you know.
That's why I still love Nintendo, if I'm honest.
Yeah, there's so many reasons why I love Nintendo, but
give me another one.
There's too many.
That's not a reason.
No, that's for another podcast.
If you've got to the deep end with us and you're on Spotify or one of the other podcast platforms, please do rate the show.
Yes,
it really does mean a lot to us. And if you're on YouTube, you know what to do.
Yes,
push, dang, thingy, bell.
Yes,
and you know all the other stuff.
And if you're listening in Singapore, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, do actually. It'd be nice to know. Channel memberships is open.
It is.
You get some exclusive videos. You get to see stuff early, and best of all, you get to join our Discord.
Yes, you do.
And come and join the fun. I'm not sure what we're doing with the Discord yet. It's more of a place for misfits to hang out.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why I'm there all the time. Yeah, so watch one of the other videos. They are squished between our faces.
They will be indeed.
There's some stuff and some other things.
Do it.
There you go, very specific. So till the next time, I'll see you next time.
Bye.